Hey guys, welcome to a Frasier Friday with Dan. We've got Merlin over there on the Zoom. Right.
Hello.
Hello, hello everybody. What's funny? This is our lives now. I mean,
Yeah.
there's nothing to joke about. This is how we have to do videos now. Frasier season 9 is what we're talking about. We are on uh, part 2 of this. We have 11 episodes to go, and we ended on a real low note
True.
with the first part of the season. This Daphne family stuff was not sitting well.
It was not.
No, it was not, and we see more of this in this season. So let's get to it. We start here with an episode called Juvenalia, and we were talking last time about the Kirby character. That now Frasier has gotten a part-time job at the station, and he is in this one again. This is where the kids from Teen Scene give Frasier a more hip, youthful audience. These kids from Teen Scene come in, and basically, I mean, it's like a firing squad with their questions and
Oh yeah.
talking, putting into question his capabilities as a radio psychiatrist and as a mentally competent person himself. Um, and I feel like I know you, Joe, the
Mhm.
moderator of this. Is he not one of the best one-off characters in Frasier history?
Just letting everyone know that the moderator position is open. We are still looking for one. Please.
Oh my God.
Please.
The way that he first of all like goes into the thing and just says to Fraser, like, just so you know, whatever happens, I'm on your side. He's like, okay,
What?
like
Like Mr.
I don't.
Moderator? What?
And then he wants to go to commercial, and the moderator's like, well, as Teen Scene is public service, there are no commercials, and he just gives Fraser kind of like a,
Like, I'm sorry, man.
yeah, like I'm sorry.
Well, but which was great. I'm
Best.
like, couldn't he have given him a little more warning, or is that with that? I don't know. I
I think
don't.
it would have been the joke. I think the fact that they only had a little bit of setup
Mhm.
um, time, to get to know each other before the kids came in.
Well, all right. I admit I thought that was very funny, but I want to ask you as a radio person, is that realistic?
Um. Well, okay. Here's what wasn't realistic. The,
Okay.
the the setup time I think was okay, but the fact um that they run this show on the same airwaves, the same channel that Frasier's show is on.
Uh-huh.
I didn't find the believability there with like Kenny. Kenny is kind of incompetent, but I don't think he would set up Frasier to go down like that.
Yeah, without any research about what these
Right.
kids typically do, ever listen to any of their shows, like that didn't make any sense.
Right. These kids are on his airwaves, so he should know that this show is more of like an attack show.
Yeah,
So that didn't make sense. And really, Frasier not knowing, I guess I could see because he's so clued out on,
the
you
other
know,
shows.
when the morning show was on, he didn't really get that. But I'm surprised Roz didn't say anything either. Like, so for the comedic purposes, yes, it works. But in the real world, no. That this would never have gone off in this
Okay,
way.
I was like, it didn't seem likely, though I do like how he resolves it with Kirby helping him and getting the dirt on the high school kids and their stuff.
Yeah, I love that part. I thought that was fantastic.
That was funny.
Uh, and then there's a little bit of a B side, B story with Martin and Daphne. Daphne, um, you know, heard that Martin kissed this woman Peg at the party, and so she kind of razzes him about that. It's not a very noteworthy story, but I do like that we're really ingraining the whole like Martin works at this place kind of thing.
Hmm.
So I like that part of it. But yeah, I thought the episode was funny, if not unbelievable. So
True.
I would give it like a B plus. All right, so up next is the proposal. This is Niles wanting to finally propose to Daphne. They've talked about moving in. By the way, the mom is still here. Like she's still. I don't think she's in every episode, but Daphne's mom is still a part of this whole thing. She's still living with them. Luckily, Simon is out. He was just in that two-parter, and then, basically,
I'd rather have Simon back, to be honest.
uh, well, because at least we've got it's your buddy LaPaglia. Anthony LaPaglia, right? Isn't that who plays him?
I do like him.
Yeah. But we have a whole ruse here where they want Martin to take out the mom, so they can do the proposal, and of course everything goes wrong, and then
Hmm.
Daphne ends up having the flu, so this whole orchestrated event needs to be canceled. Some hilarity ensues there. It's another farce.
I'd say pretty classic Frasier farce.
Yes, classic Frasier farce. It's no funnier than any of the ones they've done
No,
before, and certainly a lot worse than some of the ones. I mean, some of the ones in Niles' apartment that just are so memorable are the bird
the bird one,
and
yeah.
the dead person.
The dead person was so great.
That's probably the best. So this one
Uh,
certainly pales in comparison to those two.
yeah, you're right. It's not as funny as those for sure, but it was still pretty good, pretty
Yeah,
funny.
I mean, this is probably like a B. I mean, it's definitely serviceable. But up next, we've got one of my all-time Frasier episodes.
Okay.
And when I said about this season, I said to you, "Oh my God, is this the season with Michael Keaton?" And sure enough, we have Wheels of Fortune is the episode, and he plays. First of all, the fact that it's not just the setup and the character, but the fact that he's Lilith's half brother Blaine just makes it that much
Ooh.
like that, because we already sort of have mixed feelings, I think, about the Lilith character, and to know that this scumbag is in some way related to her just makes it the joke land that much better, I think.
And she hates
Um,
him.
and she hates him too, right? The part where he calls Lilith to confirm something, about basically is he in a wheelchair or whatever, and she says, "I don't know, but I hope so."
Yeah, it was
And
terrible.
that just says everything about this character. But he's always trying to con people, and I
Great
love that
comment.
that they talk about the ancient salt shaker, and
Oh, I wish if I knew what it was, I could have
what
done
right.
something with
One of my favorite line reads in all of Frasier is when Michael Keaton says, like, "Oh, is that what that thing was? Man, nobody knew."
it.
I just thought that's so great. I mean, this for me, and it's probably a little bit of a high grade. Look, we both love Michael Keaton,
We're Michael
but
Keaton fans here.
this is an A+ episode for me. This is everything that makes Frasier great. It's Frasier doubting what's happening,
Uh-huh.
then thinking he's being proven wrong, and then in the end, it turns out
He's
he was proven
actually right the whole
right.
time.
But then he's mad for being duped. It's so it can all Frasier emotions in one episode.
It is a great, you're right. It is a great way to encompass the entire Frasier character. And it's like you see the best and worst of him, but
Yep.
he was also kind of right though, which is sort of the extra twist. This is also I think a perfect example of just classic buildup, because a great little zinger right at the end with the empty wheelchair.
Yes,
Spoilers. Was just like,
absolutely.
oh no.
And in true classic Frasier fashion too, Martin and Daphne are taken in with this guy immediately.
Uh-huh.
So they're even on the side of like, come on, Frasier, like give him a chance. You're
And
being a jerk, Frasier. So great,
I
so
think,
great.
is it possible one reason that it works so well is because there have been plenty of times where Frazier has doubted and he has been wrong. So this could have very easily been him throwing him off the podium, and that could have been the zinger at the end, like, oh crap, because
Right.
they're the
Yeah.
silence where he doesn't get up, and like, oh, that got a lot of laughter from the crowd as well. So
That's another great
so
point too. Yeah.
if they had gone that way, they could have easily ended it there with that being the big laugh, which would have still been really funny and had a little moral at the end. It still would have been very good, but they twisted it with a little bit of dark humor. No, Frasier was actually right. This guy
Yeah.
actually is terrible, but no one will ever believe it.
Yes, exactly. I think this is who wrote this episode. This is like the Frasier writing at the best. Okay, Ken Levine and David Isaacs. Ken Levine, he writes a lot of because I see his name all the time. But yeah, it's a great, great episode. All right, so up next is Three Blind Dates. We talked earlier about
Oh
how
yeah,
at the beginning of the season, Frasier's sort of unlucky in love with somebody we finally really liked, Claire. But here, everybody's trying to hook him up with somebody, and one of them is Niles' former patient. and one of them is this gal that Daphne and Roz want to hook him up with, um, and then Martin sets him up with this hot babe that knows all the guys at the bar.
Mm-hmm.
That was kind of funny. This episode was okay for me. I love the ending of it when he ends up meeting Niles' ex-patient anyway,
Mm-hmm.
at the dry cleaner. But then the rest of the season, nothing happens with it.
I
Like,
know,
I
and it's what's her name
think
also
it's
from
sad.
Scandal. What's her name?
Oh yes, Bellamy Young. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. Who plays the president's wife.
because I liked that was actually
Wow,
one thing. Yeah,
foreshadowing.
I know, and this one is actually kind of a great triple one because every one of the girls he dates, they're all cameos of people that I know, and of course the second one, which is was it Roz's friend?
Yes,
Yeah, the painter, of course that's Allison Janney. So I mean
that.
she's
Oh my God, the
what
Alice Janney bit. Which, by the way, she also voices this season one of the callers
nice. I
radio
saw
show.
that.
So yeah, so she must have had some kind of hangout with somebody involved with Frasier. But yes, I just and she's only in one scene. She's in it for 3 minutes, but my God,
She steals the
she's
show.
so she steals this whole episode. I'm glad you brought that up because I forgot this was the Alice and Janney episode, and then her character gets a call back later in the episode because Bellamy Young's coat gets ruined by Alice and Janney at the art show.
Hmm.
So that was a great callback too. Yeah, I love this episode, but why did they then not do anything with it?
Because I told you, man, they don't want to have Frasier in a long relationship because they don't know how to write it. I guess I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a real bummer. So because of as a standalone episode, it probably would get in the B plus A minus range, but because they do nothing with the ending of this episode, I have to grade it a little lower than that. All right, so up next is War of the Words. This is the Freddie episode for the season, where Frederick is part of the National Spelling Bee and he's in the championship.
Love it.
And
Love
is
it.
this favorites? All right,
The-
let's hear about it then.
well, oh man, I really liked this one. I forgot about it because this is one of those ones that just it was clearly alluding to something. It's like it's Frasier doing like a sports movie, like a boxing movie. They've got the
Yeah.
legend, like, oh, they say he failed. I was one of the best. Like the monologues, the legend of
The Niles backstory on this is great.
like the Niles backstory. Like it's still hilarious. Like he was the champion of the spelling bee, but he choked. And like the mystery alluding to it, like the drama, like and of course the tension where all the pressure Fresher's kind of putting on him, his son to do it, and then they accuse him of mouthing the words and getting him disqualified from the championship.
Right.
And then Niles kind of coming in and saying, hey,
And
you
then
don't have to prove
go down
yourself.
at the end.
They got the showdown like it's like going to be a boxing match, but with words because it's a spelling bee because it's Frasier. And I just really love like the whole framing of it being like this gritty, like former boxing sports thing. And it's Frasier with spelling was hilarious. And I also really liked Niles' monologue about actually why he kind of walked out and didn't take the champ gold. That was
Yeah, I agree. I like that.
that was really good. So I thought this one was fun, a clever kind of parody of other types of shows and movies, and I thought everybody in it was really great. It was a great framing for it. I enjoyed this one a lot. It was fun, very
Yeah,
fun.
we talked in the first part of season 9 about the peaks and valleys of this season, and this is we haven't really Millicent Moon is still there, but we sort of brush her aside. She's not part of any plots for a few episodes. Michael Keaton, Allison Janney, the Spelling Bee. I mean, these are all
They're good.
some of the best episodes of the season for sure.
I also like it with this one where it's another. I like it when Frasier kind of. I don't know. I guess all sitcoms kind of do it sometimes, but this one is another one of the ones where Frasier goes a little experimental. Kind of like with this one. This was kind
Yeah,
of
that's
going off
true.
normal format. I think also the one was I don't know it was the season one before where Niles makes the shot with the basketball and it's like a dream sequence
Yeah,
almost. That was
yeah.
interesting. I like it when Frasier plays around with the sitcom format when they mix things up a little.
Well, and it's nice to go outside the comfort zone every once in a while. I mean, how many
Sure.
times we talked about, oh, it's an episode where Frasier can't get a date, or it's an episode where, Niles and Daphne or whatever, or it's a cabin episode, or it's a farce.
True. True.
It is nice when a long time sitcom can kind of go out of its comfort zone a little bit. So yeah, I agree that's a good one. And also, speaking of episodes, we talked about this in part one of season 9, where there's episodes that you're like, man, I swear this episode happened already. When is the episode where Frederick does his Star Trek bar mitzvah?
Yeah. Yeah,
That,
the Klingon thing, I thought that was like season 3 or something.
I swear, I mean, I knew it wasn't that early because he's so young, but I thought it was like season 7 or 8. Like, I really thought it happened by now.
Yeah, I didn't think it was
But
this late. Yeah,
I guess
that's true.
10 or something because we still haven't seen it.
Because that's one of the greats, one of the great bits.
It really is. Like, it's one of the all-time greats. All right, so next we have Death Trap. This is, oh my God, all right.
Oh, you know
This is
what?
another one of my favorites for the season.
A+ right here for me.
This is probably an A or an A plus. I mean, this is, I said in the beginning of the season 9 that I did grades just because I knew we'd be doing this over the phone, so I would be able to look at them. But
Oh, man.
oh my God,
It's so good.
this first of all, I love when they bring back the Crane Boys mysteries at any time. I love when they talk about their old mystery novels when they were kids and they rattle off the different names, and here they have a workbook apparently that there was.
Oh, after this, once this hits the papers, we're going to publish all those Crane novels.
Right.
I'll bet.
They get so big on themselves. This is, I know you love when Frasier and Niles are at each other's throats, but I think I like even more when they really are trying to do something together and failing miserably, like the one where they open the restaurant together.
That, you know what? That's also equally pretty good too.
This one, they find a skull in an old place that they used to live or travel to or whatever, and they want to turn it into a bed and breakfast. Yep. And sure enough, the old caretaker's there still, and
curmudgeon-y.
Very curmudgeon-y. Martin can't even get a good read on him. And they find this skull in the floorboards, but we see, as the audience in the beginning of the episode, it's from their Hamlet play that they did as kids. This episode is such a scream. Like,
it's very good.
Yeah, very, very good. So yeah, this is easily an A or an A plus. And then they end up
tearing up the house. And
not only tearing up the house, but they end up getting the guy in trouble.
Arrested. They get him for suspected of murder.
And then they kind of just brush it off at the end, saying like, "Well, let's just get out of here." Usually, I don't like when Frasier breaches his ethics because he's so stoic about it. But this was just hilarious.
I will say I love this episode, but I do have a minor issue with it. I find it hard to believe that the Crane brothers did not remember their reenacting of Hamlet in that skull.
Yeah, I
knowing them.
Kind of put it aside a little bit, but I don't know, when they get onto something and they're excited about something that they think is gonna break them famous, I think they forget a lot of things.
That's true. That is true.
All right, so up next is The Love You Fake. This is the other Cam Winston episode of the season. Normally I would say I don't really like when they do the rivalry episodes more than one a season, but we've introduced Cam Winston so late in the game in Frasier that I think it's totally fine to do 2 Cam Winston episodes a season. And this one is where Frasier and Cam are coming to blows over this washer and dryer, and so Martin and Cam's mother decide to really screw them over and decide to have a fake relationship to drive them crazy, which it works. And then at the end of the episode, we see them detailing this, enormous contract that they're trying to get in on.
They're trying to make a treaty of peace between them. All these stipulations. Yeah, it's great.
Like you said, they're the same person.
They are. They're the same, which is great because by the end, they're actually kind of cool.
Right. So yeah, I mean, this was another funny one. It's kind of a throwaway episode. Nothing really
But
advanced anything, but it's
but for
funny.
Cam Winston though, I'm glad he's in there.
Me too. Yeah, I'm glad they brought it back. So that's probably an A or an A minus as well. Okay, Cheerful Goodbyes is next. This is
All right.
big Cheers reunion episode.
Yeah, I
You're
was
not much of a Cheers watcher, so this a lot of this probably goes right over your head, right?
well, I was very curious to talk to you about this one. Because all right, I think I saw the first couple seasons of Cheers, which I liked, but I didn't get as invested in it as Frasier, obviously, because I kind of grew up with
Right.
Frasier as its own isolated thing. So but most of the time when Frasier does the Cheers callbacks, I get it. Like I
Right.
understand it. It works usually. But going back and doing these Frasier Fridays, a lot of the Cheers callback episodes where there's guest stars, I typically don't like them or I have mixed feelings about them. Like
You
some
hated
work,
what remember that.
I know. Oh, the Woody one, I was like, I didn't like.
One of your least favorites.
I thought it was kind of disappointing, and maybe that's because I didn't understand as well. But I didn't like it that much. This one, I thought had some funny moments, and I actually like. Well, my two favorite characters from Cheers are in this one, and they're dynamic. It's Cliff and Norm.
Okay.
I
Yep.
love their dynamic. Like whenever I'm like, hey, Norm, I love Cliff. I've got an uncle who reminds me a lot of Cliff.
Nice.
Looks and
Yeah.
sounds kind of like him, very similar. But yeah, I always liked Cliff a lot, and of course, he's
Okay.
Ham from Toy Story, so he's like,
Yeah, of course.
I love Ham, so it's like, okay, I love that guy.
But this one works for you over a lot of the other ones.
Yeah, it does because it's Cliff centric, and I think there's some heartfelt moments, and I think the build up with Frasier, of course, trying to fix things, and then it kind of ruins things for other people. It's pretty
Okay.
great with Danny DeVito's wife. What's her name?
Yes. Yeah, Rhea Perlman, who
Ray
Carla has always been one of my favorite Cheers
Ray
characters.
Perlman. She's funny too. Uh,
Very
but I liked this episode. I
okay.
actually really liked this episode. And I feel like if you liked Cheers, you'd really like this episode. But
Yeah.
can you guess what my big problem with it is?
Um. Okay. Well, let's see. Some of the side characters that you don't know so well.
Uh, were those older gentlemen consistent?
Yes, but only during like the Rebecca years. Like they weren't in, the whole run. So if you've only seen the first three seasons, you really haven't seen them.
Yeah, I knew the actors, but I'm like, yeah, I don't remember them in the seasons I
Yeah.
watched. So I was like,
Um.
okay, I didn't get those jokes as much, but
Right.
like that wasn't my biggest problem with it. But first of
Okay.
all, okay, I have two minor issues. Number one, if you got to do a big Cheers send off, great, but try to get everybody there.
Well, I guess they figured everyone had already made an appearance except for Kirstie Alley, but Shelley Long did, Ted Danson did, Woody did,
Okay,
Lilith obviously is on all
yeah,
the time. So this is pretty much the entire batch of people that just haven't been on yet.
fair
Uh,
enough.
so for that reason, it made sense to me. Also, at this point, I mean, Woody Harrelson is a huge movie star.
Yeah,
Although he
Ni-
did he did an arc on Will and Grace for about 3 or 4 episodes, and it probably wasn't long after this.
Well, all right. Look, I
But
understand
okay,
people have different contracts, careers. I get that.
but,
And I'll even don't worry if you think I'm hating on this one too much. I
no, I
think
don't.
no of the Cheers tie-ins
Mhm.
episodes. I think this one is probably my second favorite, next to the one where Diane came back. I really like that one a lot.
So good, yeah, where
That
she
was
does play.
that was fantastic.
Um,
So, and I like
but
that character.
what don't you like about it then? What am I missing? Just that it didn't involve enough of the
It
Frasier cast.
it wasn't really a Frasier episode, and there
Well,
was no reason why Frasier's brother and Niles and Dad had to even be there. It was like there was some funny moments, but okay, Martin gets along with Norm, but like we barely. Like I just felt like they felt very shoehorned into their own show, and that's what bothered me about this episode. It was a little
well, here
unbalanced.
this is the exact reason I was wondering or if you would like the episode, because every other crossover is based in Seattle. It's always basically one person from Cheers coming to the Frasier universe.
I like
Here,
that.
this is in Boston. It takes place at the Boston airport. This is basically
Which,
the Frasier cast goes to Cheers,
yeah, that's
essentially.
what it is. Yeah,
So I
they're
was wondering how that would work for you, not being as much of a Cheers fan. For me, this is honestly not among my favorite of the Cheers reunion episodes either. This to me is middling, I think, in that regard, because I agree completely. I think it was nice to see everybody. Cheers was my all-time favorite show growing up. So I loved the dynamic. It was funny. Everybody was just not even missing a beat of their characters. But it did seem out of place. Like, it seemed like almost like a backdoor pilot for a Cheers reunion show.
kind of, yeah, yeah,
It didn't seem like it was even taking place in the Frasier universe, even though it
yeah.
does.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It felt very off, out of
Yeah.
place.
So this one for me actually only gets a B. I think of all the Cheers revival episodes, is not the best.
Can I ask you another brief question
Yeah.
because I've wondered this? Do you not like Cliff that much?
No, Clue's fine.
Okay, because I just feel like I brought him up before, and I feel like I don't. Do you think he's too one note? Because I always thought he was
Yes, that
hilarious.
is my absolute problem with Cliff. And look, to be honest, Norm as well. Norm, when I was a kid,
What?
all right, hold on.
I like
Norm,
Norm.
Norm, when I was a kid, and Cliff, they were two of my favorite characters. I was like, oh my
Okay.
God, you guys are hilarious together. So funny. But, in the 11 years of Cheers, they just don't grow at all. And every character around them does.
Gotcha.
Well, Carla does too, though. So yes, when I was a kid watching Cheers, they were absolutely my favorites. Them and Woody, because he was dopey. But yes, their camaraderie is great, and here they have some great lines together, great partnership, one of the great, sitcom duos, I would say, of all time. But their characters just never grow.
Gotcha. That
So,
is a problem. Okay. Gotcha.
all right, so we have three more to go, and let's get back to. There's one more before we get back to the Moon family, and that's Frasier Has Spokane, and that is Frasier goes to Spokane, Washington, to syndicate his show, and it goes off rough at first because everyone is pissed about the guy they took off the air that he's replacing. He is a beloved Spokane institution, apparently. And,
Apparently.
yeah, apparently. But then we see, Roz sort of fakes a phone call, and she has just broken up with Roger recently, and really we get some raw emotion from the Roz character, which I loved.
That was good.
It was good. It was a really great scene, and it was a long scene. I mean, that scene was probably almost 8 minutes or something.
Not many laughs. Yeah, it was pretty heavy.
Not many laughs, very heavy. But it showed that, okay, maybe Frasier does have a future in syndication show. I don't think they ever really go back to that. Maybe they decided against syndication. We just don't hear about it. But and then this is another one where, like, the B side, it's sort of like the whole cricket thing going into the house earlier in the season. The B side of this is the B story of this is where they're trying to build a table. Niles and Martin.
Oh yeah.
They're all mad at each other and this and that. So I don't know. I thought that was sort of a.
That was all right because it was Daphne that was kind of better at building the table and was annoyed at Niles. So that was kind of, I guess, something.
Yeah, it was something, but that was among my lesser favorites. So I don't know. That one gets like a B for me. But okay, the last two of the season, we go back to the Moon family.
Yay!
Was favorites. So I'm just gonna lump these episodes in together because it's sort of a to be continued type thing.
Yeah.
So it's the Guilt Trippers and Moons over Seattle. And Guilt Trippers is where everybody is, it's Daphne's birthday and everybody's sort of falling all over themselves to get her a great present, but Mrs. Moon sort of is trying to ruin everything. And so Niles decides, okay, fine, take these tickets to the Hawaii trip. Me and Daphne were going to go on. You can go with her. I'm going to secretly fly to London and try to find or England, wherever they live in England, and try and find your father.
Mhm.
And then that leads into episode 24, Moons Over Seattle, where now the dad is back in Seattle, and Daphne gets mad about it. And he's trying to reconcile the two of them.
Yeah.
Uh, you classically hate the Moon family, so let's hear from you first.
All right. Well,
Stinks, right?
a kind of it's good that it's like being resolved. It's being addressed, so that's
Yeah,
kind of a plus, I guess. I will say this. I think it was interesting showing that Niles would be willing to go to great lengths to try to help Daphne, but also to just get rid of the mother because everybody hates
yeah,
her. So,
yeah.
but I did like how they inversely said, Daphne, like, no way, you are assuming things about my parents. You should have talked to me. We're a team. There were some good moments there. I
But then he
like
does the same thing again.
exactly. So it's like, it's a little frustrating.
Didn't learn his lesson.
I I like Mr. Moon a little better than Mrs. Moon
I do too. I can see why.
because he would see why I left her, and I also like that actor. I think is a Brian Cox. I think is his name. Um,
Uh,
I know
yeah.
him primarily from X-Men 2. He was the evil general that experimented on Wolverine. He's been in some things, but yeah, he's funny. I like that actor. I think he does an okay job. Uh,
Yeah, Brian Cox. Yeah, you're right.
yeah, I was like, I like him. I thought there was some decent humor, some decent things explored. I think I believe it happens in this two-parter. Isn't there like a B plot that's more interesting?
Well, yes, the B plot is where Roz and Frasier finally have sex,
Yeah, yeah. Okay, I liked
and
that.
he
I
follows
actually,
her to
yeah.
Wisconsin to her family reunion in the second part. Yeah,
Okay, yeah. See, that's the stuff I actually liked when he's
me too.
pretending to be her. Yeah, that was good. That was interesting. That was funny. And how that kind of, I guess I don't know if they follow up with that later on, but I kind of liked that. I remember that was a thing.
Yeah,
But
I mean they definitely call it back a few times, but it's interesting. You know, they've had a couple of close calls. Like the one night I think in season 4 or 5 when they were at the hotel room and they were drinking,
mhm,
that like almost turned into it, and I was glad that it didn't.
true.
Um, but here in the ninth season, she's suffering from a breakup from this guy that she really loved,
Hmm.
um, and then about to go see her family. Like I think this was the right time for that storyline.
Hmm.
So yes, I agree. I think that holds this show together more than the main storyline, absolutely. But at the end of the episode, the second episode here, Daphne shows up on Niall's doorstep late at night, and finally they get engaged, and
Hmm.
that's it for the season. So I don't know. I mean, for me, not the best way to end the season. I wish that we had focused. I wish it was the A story was Frasier and Roz,
Oh yeah,
personally.
I
Yeah,
agree. Actually,
yeah. So I mean, this probably gets in the B minus range. I'm glad we finally are getting rid of
the
uh,
Moon
the
family.
family, and I think they don't show up anymore. But I could be wrong. I don't remember.
I
But
don't remember either.
yeah, I mean, they must return for the wedding, right? Daphne and Niles do get married before the end of the series, don't they?
They do, but I don't think it's like a big deal. I don't think it's like a big ceremony.
Maybe not. Yeah, I don't remember. It's funny, you go through this series so much. It's like, but I still can't remember.
Yeah, the
Um,
last couple seasons kind of I don't have the strongest memories of.
no, 8, 9, and 10 are not my favorites, and then 11
You say it gets
definitely.
better.
Yeah, well, and Frasier finally finds some sort of romantic love in 11
Ah,
a while, if
good.
you will. So yeah, we'll look forward to that. But now that we can Zoom with each other again, no matter how long the quarantine lasts, we can still do Frasier Fridays, which is great. So that is the end of season 9. I guess we should grade the season in general. Middling. I say the highs were real great though.
I wanted
There's some
to.
solid episodes.
I wanted to tell you because I thought going into this before we did this, and I was considering it. I think this might be my least favorite season so far
Yeah, it's neck and neck probably with season 8.
because
I think the,
I
the good episodes in this season
they're good. They're really
definitely
good.
outweigh anything in season 8, I think, except for the Dr. Tewksbury episode.
Hmm.
with your buddy Odo. That
In Deep
and I
Space Nine,
guess
yeah, no, I agree.
so the Michael Keaton episode, the spelling bee episode, the digging in the floor, the
the
Hamlet
murder.
episode.
Yep,
I mean, those are honestly
great.
probably three of the best episodes of this series.
True.
Especially being this late in the game.
Yeah.
But I think overall, I don't know, it's probably a B, right?
Yeah, that sounds about right. Like it's a good season comparatively speaking, but it's one of the weakest Frasier seasons for sure so far.
Yeah, the bad episodes are bad.
There's too many. There are some really rough ones in there.
There's too many of them with the
Mhm.
Moon family. And yeah, like we talked about, the Cheers reunion,
Was okay.
okay, but I remember being very, very excited about that when this originally aired. I was like, oh my god, like my buddy Cheers are going to be on. And at the end of the episode, even the first time I saw it, I was disappointed with it.
Wow.
So yeah, but all right. So another middling season, but hopefully 10 I think actually gets a bit worse. But no Moon family. Maybe it doesn't.
Well, maybe they'll have the Noel Klingon episode at least.
Yeah, if nothing else, I think we can expect the Noel Klingon episode coming up in that season. So that'll be good. We haven't seen Noel in a while.
Yeah, he wasn't in this season.
No, not at all. So that'll be good. But all right. Well, thank you for joining as always, Merlin. It's great to see you, buddy.
Of course. I mean, yeah, hopefully next time we do this and be in person again, but I don't know.
That would be nice, but who could tell at this point? So yeah, comment below about the Frasier season, guys, and subscribe to Merlin's channel too.
Thank you.
We always love having new subscribers, either of us. So definitely do that, and that'll do it. So thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.